Hey everyone, how y'all doing today? Hope y'all are doing awesome. Back with our final video of this camshafts. We've been putting camshafts in this 2011 Dodge Grand Caravan. We just changed out the camshafts and the rocker arms and lifters and all that good stuff. We did all four of them. Did a full series. I did it in 3 different parts. I did the first video was upper intake and to change your spark plugs, and then the next video was valve covers and lower intake, and then the third video was how to actually changing the cams out. So if you need to go back and watch a certain one of those, go ahead, feel free. I'll leave all the links down below or up in one corner or wherever I can leave the links. Check down below in the description. Should be good. But anyway, what we're doing here, we're just going to put everything back together. I'm going to show you how to put everything back on. So if you need to see it, awesome. If not, if you can kind of figure that out, once you get it off, it's pretty easy. But we're going to show you how to put all that back on. So we're going to start with lower intake, and then we're going to go from there. I've got the gaskets. The kit came with all the gaskets I need, valve covers and upper and lower. Just to do the cams, you don't have to do the lower intake, but it came with the gaskets that go right there, so I figure I'll change them anyway. So anyway, before I begin, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, which is, well, me. I don't have any sponsors. This is a personal vehicle. I buy all this stuff for, all this stuff I paid for out of pocket, so I don't have any sponsors. It's just me, and it's, well, y'all, the viewers, the subscribers. You're actually the sponsors, because you guys are the ones that make the channel go, not me. But anyway, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give the video a thumbs up, comment, you know the drill. There's also a channel membership. At this time, I don't really have any members. I'm not really expecting a whole lot with that, but if you feel like it, awesome. There's also that super thanks button if you want to hit me up with a small donation. But again, if not, no pressure, don't care. It's just, even just to subscribe, simple subscribe. It helps a lot. It costs you nothing and helps me out a great deal. So anyway, enough of that rambling. Let's get on with putting this together. Set you up on the tripod so I got both hands, and we'll get a move on. All right, I actually lied. We're going to do the valve covers first, because they're a little bit more tricky and might be a little easier to get in there with the intake out of the way. So we're going to do the valve covers first, and we're going to do that inside one back in there, that tough one. So basically, we're just going to, we need to just move some of these hoses out of the way here. That's power steering hose. Kind of needs to go out of the way a little bit. Put that up in there. These hoses out of the way. The wire plugs out of the way. Make sure all those plugs are free from down in there. This one, you have to kind of put this side on a little first so you can slip it on, because of that big part of the, okay. And these are just 10 millimeters. Let's see, where's my 10 mil right here? 10 millimeter and a 1/4 inch ratchet. So a shorter one, here it is. Alright, so we'll just set these things on. There's a torque, I think it's like 89 inch-pounds, but just get them good and snug. You should be good. I wouldn't worry too much about it. As long as they're snug. You gotta make sure all your cordage and your wires and everything are out of the way. Just like they're all, oh, I got one underneath there. gotta make sure your wires are out of the way. You don't want to smash a wire, which I have kind of sort of done. Right there. There we go. Okay, so they're just 10 mils. Just set these things in. Wouldn't worry too much about order and torque. So there is a sequence. You can look it up. I'm not exactly going to. I'm just gonna kind of the crisscross pattern, sort of. And then I'm just gonna get them good and tight. You don't have to. I mean, as long as they're tight enough that it won't leak, you should be good. Especially with new gaskets, they don't need to be super duper tight. It's just kind of just hand tight till you can't really turn them much with little force. Can't really turn them anymore. That should be plenty tight. Again, if you do have a torque wrench and feel it ambitious, I think it's like 89 inch-pounds. I'll put a link to all the tools I use, all these parts that I'm putting in it. Links will be down below. I'll put links to everything I've done, spark plugs, camshafts, gaskets, all that good stuff. All the tools I'm using. I'll leave links down below for all that. That way you know for a fact you've got everything you need. And again, if you need to know how to take this stuff off, just go back and rewatch. I'll leave the links in the description for all the videos I've done. Did a whole series on how to change out these camshafts. So just go check them out if needed. If you're good with taking these off, then you don't need to watch it. Don't watch it. Just watch the parts you need. But chances are, if you're here watching this, you probably needed that one. Just saying. Not to be rude, just saying. Chances are that you probably did if you're watching this video. Yeah, right now is time of this recording. It's 2024, January. Not too bad of weather. The channel's growing, not great, not fast, but it's growing. It's growing at a reasonably decent pace. Could be better, but again, I owe it all to you guys, the subscribers. Okay, so I'm going to, this one's kind of going in a little rough, but closing in on 5,000. I might do some good giveaways or something at 5,000. I'm still debating on that once I hit there. Again, it's not much. Could be better. You know, I'm not one of the great YouTubers that goes out there and has millions of subscribers, but I do my best. Anyway, I'm going to throw this together so you don't have to sit there and watch me tighten up every single one. And then I'll come back when I go to do the front one, and then we'll go from there. All right, got that valve cover on. Now we're going to do the PCV. It kind of bolts to the side. You've got 3 T25 torque screws that they just go down in there. Gotta find my T25 real quick. Alright, so T25 Torx. That's what that one takes. Grab my ratchet. And I lied, these are not 10 millimeters along the perimeter there. Those are actually 8 millimeter. And I think I said 10, but they're actually 8. So disregard what I said before. So now we're gonna put this in. We've got, this goes in. It doesn't go in very, it's not very hard to get in. It's just so kind of faces backwards. The opening of it kind of faces the back of the vehicle. And then there's just those T25s, I don't need to be super tight. Might be kind of difficult-ish to get to. Start. And this is just your PCV, kind of PCV valve, so to speak, kind of, I guess. If you, just a couple. There's one back here that's kind of tough to get to, way back down in the reef, and they don't need to be super duper tight, just tight. Overly tighten them. This bottle is kind of tricky. Get your tool down onto it. It's not super hard, but not super tricky either. It's not, you just got some these wires and coolant hoses in your way is all. You got to kind of work around them a little bit. Okay, now we'll grab our ratchet. Just snug them down. And when I get down here, I'll show you where I'm at here so you kind of get a better look at what I'm doing. I know this isn't, I know where I got, yeah, it's not the best view. So, that's kind of tough to get to down there. Okay, so now I got my camera here and I will take you down there and kind of show you what I'm looking at here. See, this thing right here, it faces towards that way. You got just those couple bolts there. Kind of hard to zoom in. Come on, camera, zoom in. Yeah, see right there. Just that. Now we just got coils and the cam phaser. And that's it. Your cam phaser is this guy right here. It just goes in this hole right here. You kind of got to work with it a little bit sometimes to get it down in there. Drop down in there. And that is a T30. I should have one of those out here somewhere already. My T30's right here. And they don't have to be overly tight. I'm sure there's a torque spec on them, but just don't grip them down as tight as you can get them. But tight enough that, you know, use best judgment. Okay, that's good. And here's the plug for it. Plug that in while I'm standing here. Okay. Clip on there. You've got your sensors over here. Plug that in. Clip. Put this back on. That one didn't seem like it clipped in. There we go. Clipped in. Now we just got our coils. And coils go this direction. And these ones are 10 millimeter. Drop those coils in. You can drop some dielectric grease down on the tip of these. Not going to hurt anything. Some people swear by it. I usually do. Just didn't bring any of that home with me today. And I obviously can't go to the store because, well, you know, the van is down for the camp at the moment. So 10 mil. I use wobbles. I didn't bring a standard 10 mil. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I'm using a wobble. I usually try to be over prepared, but I kind of am. I'm way over prepared. I brought a lot of tools I don't need, but I also forgot some of the ones that I do need. So did I actually come over prepared or under prepared? Finger tighten for a second. And you can use power tools on these if you have them, and you just don't need to grip them so tight. You just gently power tools if you want. I typically do use power tools, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to run them in by hand. Okay, and that's pretty much that for that valve cover. Pretty simple. And now the next valve cover, and then because these plugs are, I think they're right here. I think they're right there, part of them. Yeah, they come around here. I know those are those. They're right here. These are the plugs, but I'm going to plug them on when I get to the upper intake. I'm not going to, or the lower intake, mind you. So I'm not going to worry about plugging those in yet. I'm going to get on to the next valve cover. But I'll let you go while I change out the gasket, and then I'll be back to show you how to put this on. And then, this gasket, I got to pull this old gasket out and drop the new one in. So we'll go from there, and I will be right back. All right, I got my gasket in. Now we're gonna drop this valve cover back in place. If you can and want to, take it over, clean it up a little bit. I'm not in this case, just because I'm trying to save time. I need to get this van back together, and you know, I don't have access to all that. I'm not at the shop. If I was at the shop, I would have taken it over to the solvent tank or something, but I'm just in my driveway right now, so you know. And the same thing, just kind of work it out, make sure you don't get any of the wires caught down in it. There we go. Put that thing right down there on top of that. Perfect. And then again, 8 millimeter, not a 10. That's an 8. But anyway, just run these around, and then your cam phaser, plug in your cam sensors, your coils, and good to go. So I'll put these around, get those all tightened up. You don't need to watch me tighten them all up. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you how to come here to the intake and get all that done. Okay, got that one in. Now we're gonna put our next cam phaser in here. I think that's what they call it, a cam phaser. That's what I call them. And then your cam sensors are over here. And that is again a T30. Bolt that guy in there. It's kind of, for some reason I don't know why the bolt came out of it, but make it kind of difficult to get in. Okay, now we'll drop that back down in there. It's kind of a snug fit down in there, but once you get it, it goes. And then we'll just run this down in there. Okay, there we go. Just want to go in there for a second. Okay, it's good. Just good and snug. I'll wait to plug that one in. No, here's the plug for it right there. I don't know where the plug's at, but it's right there. And then I'll plug in my cam sensors here. That one there. That one there, and then we'll drop the coils down in there. And then I'll prep the upper intake or the lower intake. I keep saying upper, it's lower intake. Again, these are 10 millimeters. Get the intake prepped and ready to throw back in there after I get these all tightened up. That one's my 10 millimeter wobble. It's not. Sounded like my truck was home. I was gonna have to go open the gate if they were home, but they're not, so we're good. My wife had to take the truck today because I'm working on the van. And I thought she was home and was gonna need the gate open, so I was gonna have to run it. But we're good. We'll just finish up what we're doing here and then, okay, so that is all good. Now I will prep up the intake. I'll get the upper intake gaskets put in and then show you what to do from there. Okay, so I got my fresh gaskets in the intake. So now we can flip this thing around. Lost a bolt out of it from right there. So bolts usually stay in, but occasionally you'll get one fall out. It's leaking some gas on me. And then we're just going to chop it down in here. This is just like a quick release, kind of like a fuel filter. If you've ever changed one of those out, you know what I'm talking about. It just clips in like that. Go around until you find your bolts. These are again 8 millimeter, or it looks like they're like maybe a T20 if you want to go that route. But 8 millimeter is good. And again, there is a torque spec. I think it's 89 inch-pounds on these. So you're welcome to torque them if you have a torque wrench, or you're welcome to not if you don't. Just run them around. There's a sequence order. I'm just kind of snugging them down real quick. There's an order you're supposed to tighten them up at as well. It's not really totally necessary in my opinion. Says me. I know some people say it does. Some people swear by it, but I'm not too worried about it. And again, just get them to where it's tight. You know, it doesn't have to. They don't hold the car together, so they don't need to be extremely tight. But just get them good and tight. If you do have a torque wrench, go ahead and torque them to 89 inch-pounds. I have one. I'll probably check them once I get it tightened up. Just because intakes I care a little bit more about than the valve covers. Valve covers, tighten them up good. But that's just my opinion. You know, do what you want, listen to whoever you want, but my opinion, valve covers I'm not too worried about. These intakes I'll probably torque 89 inch-pounds. I do have a torque wrench over there. That one's not going down into the hole there. I'd have to grab my 8 millimeter wobble because it's a little shorter. You know, you can put a little bit of pressure on it to get it to start. There we go. That's way more gooder. crisscross pattern is probably perfect for what you're doing here. But I'll torque these, just kind of show you how, and if you know what, most of you probably know what a torque wrench is and how to use one, but for those that don't, I'll go ahead and show you the torque wrench and how the torquing of it works. 'Cause I know I might get one of those people that ask, how come you didn't torque them? I wanted to see that. So if that's you, I'll go ahead and show you once I get this one tightened up here. Get out my torque wrench and okay, so here's 1/4 inch drive, inch-pound torque wrench. You can rent these from a lot of part stores will rent them to you, or you can buy one. I'll put a link below if you'd like if you want to buy one. If you're not going to do a lot of work, it's probably not necessary to have, but if you're one of those people that just likes to have the tools for yourself to do your job, then I'll leave you the link and you can buy one. If you're just doing one job and that's it, then I'd probably say just run to your part store and grab one. Anyway, you set it 89 inch-pounds, and then you get a little double click there like that. I know I'm not going in the perfect sequence probably, but just go until you hear a little audible double click. Maybe. Okay, yeah, that's 89 inch-pounds. So you'll just kind of go like a little crisscross pattern. You should be perfect. Every other one or something like that. You don't have to go and, I'm not a big believer in, on some things I am. The head gaskets I do the sequence. But some of these I just torque them. Just go in order. Just a little crisscross pattern, good enough for every other one or whatever. And that's good enough. And if you get this style of torque wrench, you always want to set it back to 0 when you're done. I always set it back even if I'm going to be using it again in a few minutes. For this sake, I'm putting on the upper intake next, so it's going to be too quick, but I always set it back to 0. Don't store it with it, or you could stretch the bands and then it goes out of calibration. So anyway, from here we're just to the upper intake. Pretty much done. But first we'll swing our wiring harnesses around and we'll plug in our injectors. Click. Find it. There we go. Click. Click. You'll hear that little click there. And then you plug in your coil packs, or coils. They're not coil packs, but coils. Plug those in. Same thing over here on this side. Got our injectors. Yeah, some people, they just get intimidated by doing these kind of jobs, but it's really not too bad. You just have to trust yourself. And from here we'll pull these out, because again it came with new ones. very good. That one doesn't look very good. But should be okay. It's thin enough. Should be okay, hopefully. If not, well, then I'll get a vacuum leak and I'm going to have to be back in here again. Watch where you get your parts from. Don't be like me. Get them from the dealership. Don't be like me and get them cheap from Amazon. I mean, unless you're strapped for money, then, you know, Amazon most of the time is pretty good, but that gasket doesn't look very good. Kind of hangs over the edge there. But we're going to give it a try. It should seal. I mean, there's nothing back here. As long as it seals right on that edge, we should be good. All right, now I'll go grab my upper intake. Now there's these two brackets down here that I've still got them loose. You're going to want to put those on. They bolt onto just these little studs right here. There's these two brackets. And there's a bracket back here that bolts to this that I've taken off. I know it's probably supposed to be there, but I took it off altogether. I don't use that. The front ones are a good idea to keep on there, just to give it a little extra support on your manifold. That way you're not putting too much pressure on it. But anyway, this is the exact same deal. Crisscross pattern, 89 inch-pounds, good to go. So from there I'll let you be, and then we'll get back to the rest of it and then go to that point. Okay, and then again on those 89 inch-pounds. Hear that double audible click. All torque wrenches are a little different, but most of them you hear a click. Some of them whistle or beep at you. Some of them click at you. So it depends on the torque wrench. That's it. Just 7 of them. Now your intake's back on. Now from there we are basically home free. We just plug in our vacuum. We plug in this guy up here. There's this one back here that goes onto the back of the intake. We've got our, where'd the PCV hose go? It's around here somewhere. Right here. You got your PCV hose. It goes on that back one that you did back there. Kind of a tight fit. There we go. And then right there. Slide that into there. You've got your plugs. This plug here for your map sensor. And you got this one here for your throttle position sensor. Put that there, and then this one will go to your air box. Got all our vacuum lines hooked up. And these two little brackets that are down here, they're kind of a pain. If you leave them off, I don't think it's going to really affect a whole lot. That says me, but they're a pain. If you can get them, I recommend get them. I didn't show it, but there you got to just kind of reach way down in here, and with a little ratcheting 13mm wrench. It's tough, but again, nothing you shouldn't be able to do. Now we just got these little guys here for, should have put these on before, but these hold your little engine cover on. I don't have the engine cover anymore. Again, I've been down here messing with stuff. They just screw onto these back two here in case you ever decide to put that back on. They go back here. I'll put them on just in case I find it. It might be in my garage somewhere, but there's a few things you decide that, you know, don't necessarily need to be there, and I don't like those engine covers personally. That's just That's just a says me, my opinion thing. Then we got this little thing for the power steering box here, or the pump, the bottle. There's a little screw that holds that in. A little bolt, nut. It's a nut, not a bolt. I know that. Okay, now, and that's a 13 millimeter. Tighten that up so that it's, so we don't have the power steering flopping around. And doesn't need to be excruciatingly tight. I grab my tools out of here. Now we do this in two pieces. We put this piece back behind. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get back there. Behind all this crap. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get back there. Gotta finagle it a little. And there's no clamp or anything on that. It just slips in like that. Pops in. It usually has a little slot here to pop it in, but that one has been broken off. And then we clip this on there like so. And then we put our air box in there. And we are just about finished with this. Then I get to clear the codes and go and drive it and see if my repair fixed it. Which I'm sure it did by the looks of that camshaft. I'm sure my repair fixed it. Put these on here like that. Put this on here. What the? Why doesn't that one go on very good? Okay, what are we doing here? Just doesn't seem to want to go in there like it's supposed to. There we go. Yeah, we're there. And that you're going to want to get, you can't quite get a long screwdriver down in there, so I usually just use a 8 millimeter and a ratchet. If you have a stubby screwdriver, you can do that too. Which, again, have one, which is not here. So I'll use my ratchet and my 8 millimeter wobble. Anyway, and we are done putting this thing back together. One last little thing here, and this thing is back together. And I just want to say I appreciate you all watching. Y'all are the reason why I do this. Y'all are the sponsors of this channel, because I don't get sponsors. My only sponsors is y'all watching it. So if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button, like I said, and hit thumbs up the video. You know the drill. If you feel generous, hit the super thanks or whatever. But if not, hey, I understand it's hard times, and just a simple subscribe. Awesome. Appreciate you. And we're done. It's that simple. I say that simple because it's not really that hard. It's more intimidating. But anyway, go back, watch the other videos, show how to do this. If you need to do spark plugs, if you need to do valve cover gaskets, if you need to do whatever, just, it's all those videos. I'll leave links down below or wherever, somewhere, most likely in the description. But anyway, appreciate y'all, love y'all, and I will see you in the next one.